Hello everybody, welcome back to Wolfeei. Today we're going to be looking at the best Pride event for MCC. Which one of the 4 past Pride events was the best, and also, at the end of the video, we will be making a very banger roster out of all the people who've ever played in Pride. I am biased, as you will notice from the roster. I've actually already made the teams, but they are not going to be shown yet, and I will be revealing them one by one. If I know how to do this without leaking anything. Either way, if you didn't already watch it, watch the video from yesterday, daily December day number 12. Today's day number 13, by the way. Yesterday I went over my favorite teams of Season 3, and some of the Pride teams ended up being my most favorite. So that inspired me to look into Pride in general and look at which roster from MCC Pride I think is the best. I think I have an idea of which one I will probably say is the best, but we'll get there. Starting off with MCC 6, this was the roster for MCC 6. For those of you who are newer to MCC, you might not recognize a lot of the people on here. MCC 6 was obviously very early on in MCC's in time span, lifetime, however you want to call it. So there's a couple of people on these teams who were relatively active in the beginning, but haven't played much recently, being like Steffo Sims. Rendog hasn't been in for a while. Mefs has been out of rotation for a while. Catherine hasn't played in a while. Strawberry only. I think Strawberry played in Underdogs, maybe. Mini Mook hasn't played in a while. Bitzel and Fundy haven't played in a while. King Baron's been out of rotation, etc. Right? So, this roster is honestly pretty decent. Obviously, it's not a very standout roster because this wasn't labeled as MCC Pride, even though it was Pride themed. This is the first one, if you didn't already know. But I still think these are some pretty interesting teams. It's very interesting as well seeing the balancing. Obviously, some of the teams you're looking at here are way stronger than some of the other ones. Notably, like Orange team nowadays would be insane. Or let me see. I mean, Pink team would be incredible. Blue team would be insane. Like, there's a lot of teams here that would be very strong. But yeah, overall, these teams are pretty solid. Introduced a lot of cool people to the event. If you can't really see, Dream, George, Green, Pearl, Fundy, and Fruit were the newcomers, and I think the majority of those people were great additions, at least looking at the, long-term MCC lifespan, whatever you want to call it. Anyways, moving on. MCC Pride 2021 roster is right here. This one was in partnership with YouTube, which is why the roster looks the way that it does. This one, yeah, it looks obviously very intriguing. There's some interesting placements here, especially for how early on this was in MCC's lifespan. I think it was after MCC 14. You've got some very interesting combinations. Like red team is like Lizzie, Joel with Puffy and Vic. Very interesting combination. Some OGs obviously thrown in. Squishy as a newcomer for this event was a very fun surprise. You have an entire Xbox team, which I think was demanded by YouTube to play, probably. Who obviously otherwise probably wouldn't really get a chance to participate. A very iconic team of Lime Team, Wisp, Toby, Tommy, and Joey Graceffa. Very fun team. If you have not watched that VOD, especially something like Battlebox, I remember was very funny, very entertaining, so I would recommend watching that. The introduction of the Roblox team on the green team, I think they've played 2 times now, maybe 3. I think 2 or 3 times they've been in MCC now. Then Cyan team with a surprise Laserbeam and Muselk appearance. Laserbeam coming back for multiple MCCs afterwards as well. Very fun surprise. Creekcraft, legendary player for MCC. Someone who people really want to see in regular events. I will also be making a video on that soon. And then Christine also is a newcomer who I wasn't familiar with, but a nice surprise anyways. And also the Technoblade and Korean combo with Wilbur as well and Jimmy. Fantastic team, very fun team. Obviously a very chaotic team, as some of you may know because of the fire alarm incident. But yeah, great roster, this one. Very, very cool. But moving on, you've got MCC Pride 2022. This is what I remembered to be the most incredible roster for MCC Pride. However, this one is pretty good. I kind of forgot how good this one is. You got Dream and George, Carl and Foolish. Incredibly strong team for a Pride event. Some just bangers all along. Yellow team is super fun. Green team obviously introducing Ray and Saikuno to the event, and also Ludwig initially, who already had played beforehand, but great additions regardless. Some fun combo on Cyan. You got Aqua Team introducing Velvet to the event, which was nice. Simmers also got to participate. Purple, I think, was one of the first, if not the first, like all-women team. Don't quote me on that, but it feels like that was one of the earlier ones, which is incredible. And then Pink Team, obviously, introducing Jacksepticeye and Ethan Nestor to the event is insane, and just a banger team overall. Very, very solid roster. But, moving on again, this is the one of the most recent Pride event, also had some very fun additions. This is 2023, so this one is from half a year ago-ish. Zombie Cleo joining the event, also Grian and Gem and Pete combo, great, I already talked about this yesterday. Owen and Gucky, Owen coming from Rising 1 and Gucky being a newcomer, very cool combination as well. Then you also have Lily Pichu as a newcomer, incredible, obviously. It's like a super out of left field addition to the roster, but very fun, obviously. And then you have Janet and Ryan being added into the mix, which is a very nice surprise. I did not really think about Ryan Higa in terms of MCC Pride, at least. I think I mentioned Ryan Higa somewhere earlier this year as a potential newcomer addition because of Vault Hunters. But regardless, still a surprise, even though I obviously mentioned it. Misty was the greatest surprise to be added for me. Obviously, I had no clue, for those of you who haven't seen my reaction to when Misty got announced. I think there's a clip on the Wolfeei channel about that, or, you know, just from that stream. But Misty being added was a great, great surprise. And then Piso, very fun addition as well. So yeah, overall, Pride events have been very nice. There's been a lot of fresh additions. Pride introduces a lot of newcomers to the event, and also some exclusive players like a Saikuno who doesn't really play outside of Pride events. So yeah, overall, very cool. But, this is the wrong tab. Nope, still the wrong tab. This is the right tab. Here we have the MCC Pride Players Tier List Maker, which I have made teams on. This one is what I think, out of all the people who have played so far, is one of the coolest ways you could make another Pride event if you were to be able to get all of the people to be interested in playing again. Starting off with Red Team. Now, you might think, looks a little bit familiar, and it's because this is just the MCC Pride 2023 team, but instead of Pete, it has Misty. Not because I think Pete doesn't make sense in the team. I think Pete obviously makes more sense in the team, but just because there's, you know, we still want to try to make the majority of the roster LGBTQ players, thus Misty here makes a lot of sense. Also, Misty's obviously someone I think was really hype as an addition to the event. Anyways, moving on, you get the Orange Team. Orange Team is Scott, Shelby, Joey, and Strawberry. I think her name's Megan. Very fun combination, obviously. 4 Pride players, or 4 LGBTQ players, so very fitting for Pride. And I think I think it's a super fun combination of people. 2 duos that are very much like the new community, so very fun combination. Then next up, oh, I just scrolled a little bit too far. You might, look at this and be like, what's that? But Yellow Team actually has a theme to it, which is Fortnite. Harvey being the sole LGBTQ player on this team, carrying the Pride aesthetic, but the other 3 obviously being here for the large audience that they bring for the charity aspect of Pride, which I think a lot of people on Twitter at least keep forgetting about for Pride. It's not just about putting like LGBTQ creators in, obviously priority is given to them, but they're trying to raise money for charity, so you want to have the big streamers, regardless of if they are, fit into Pride or not. You want to have them in. Regardless, this Yellow Team I think would be super fun. It's obviously Fortnite themed with Laserbeam and Musa returning from Pride 21. Vic also, who has played I think in 1 or 2 Pride events in the past, and then Harvey obviously, who makes sense for Pride. Moving on, Lime Team, I already kind of spoiled it. This is, people who I think should be in and who are cool to be in. I kind of just took 2 duos from past Pride events and smacked them on the same team. Ant and Velvet, and then Gumi and Janet. Very fun combination. Very nice team. Next up, Green. You have maybe a slightly odd combination. I wanted to include Carl Jacobs, and I had a team initially for Carl, but I think I shuffled some stuff around. But I had a 5-up Saikuno and Ray trio. Regardless, I think Carl fits pretty well. I don't think 5UP and Sykkuno have teamed together yet. I know there was rumors that Sykkuno was supposed to play in like one of the earlier MCCs, I think around either Season 2A or Season 2B. I think 5UP or someone else mentioned that he was going to sign up and that he just forgot. But they haven't teamed yet. And I think it's, a big miss that they haven't teamed yet. They have teamed twice in Block Wars now, but MCC, not yet. Same with 5UP and Ray, also haven't teamed yet. You would expect that they probably would have been on the same team just because of their history as consecrators together. But nope, not yet. Either way, cool combo. I think it would be fun. Obviously, probably one of the weaker teams in this roster, but I think regardless, Sykkuno and Ray have been on weak teams pretty much consistently, so it doesn't really matter. But very fun. So that would be the first day, I guess, of team announcements. Second day, Cyan team starting off with obviously Rambu, who is supposedly quit MCC. I think that they might return for Pride events. I think there's a chance. Then you've got Tommy, you got Jacksepticeye, and you got Ethan Nestor. Fantastic combination. I mean, this is essentially just the Pride 22 pink team, but with Sapnap being replaced for Tommy in it, which obviously, now that Sapnap's on kick, would make a lot of sense for Sapnap to not be in this event. So yeah, Tommy, a very good replacement. I think he's LGBTQ. I could be wrong, but I used by the way, the numbers is the amount of LGBTQ players on the team according to the wiki. So if it's wrong, I'm sorry. It's just what the wiki said. So yeah, that's the Cyan team. Very fun team. Obviously, very funny team. Next up, Aqua team. I tried to go for another all-women team. I think it would be fun. And I think this would make sense as far as I'm aware. I mean, this kind of revolves around JoJo, because Kara obviously is very good friends with JoJo. Lizzie likes playing with JoJo. And I feel like Nikki would also probably enjoy playing on this team. I mean, it's a very fun team. So yeah, that's the Aqua team. Next up, you got Blue team. This one is a little bit random. I know, okay, it's just a tad bit random, potentially. But you got Owen, you got Creek, you got Ryan Higa, and you got Lily. I think from my research at least, which is very little, both Owen and Lily follow Creek on Twitter. So they are familiar with Creek, and I would assume Creek probably knows at least of Ryan Higa. I think everyone here will know of Ryan Higa. It's Ryan Higa. I think Creek is probably familiar with Lily Pichu. I mean, should be okay. It's a little bit random, but it should be fine. Also includes Owen, I think, as the only LGBTQ player, but the other people on the team, obviously large streamers who would bring a good audience for charity, so should be fine. Next up, the purple team, kind of slightly scrolled too far there. Purple team, you got Toby, you got Piso, you got Amy, you got Gucky. Very fun team. Very similar to the Block Wars Rookies team that Toby had, but with Gucky added to the team instead of either Grace or Lexi. But yeah, I think this would be a fantastic team. I think they would have great vibes. I think they'd be super fun. Obviously, we know that Amy also is taking a break. I think Gucky maybe as well from MCC, supposedly quitting entirely. Toby also supposedly taking a break. But this would be Pride 2024 potentially, so that would be half a year from now. I think they'd play in the For Fun events, especially with a team like this. So yeah, it would be very fun. And then finally, you've got the pink team being Phil, Foolish, Wilbur, and Tina. Obviously, if you didn't already notice, it's a QSMP themed team, which I think would be huge for charity. Would be very nice. So yeah, I mean, there's not really much to explain here. Phil and Wilbur, obviously a great duo. Foolish and Tina, great duo. They're all on QSMP, so they're all super familiar with each other. Obviously, they already knew each other beforehand. But yeah, that's the roster. Here's some people. Here's the other people who all played in Pride, the white, the gray, and the, below tier. This also includes MCC 6, so some of you might think, like, when did this person play in Pride? Anyways, all the people in the white tier, they are LGBTQ. I feel like they should get a chance to play if possible, but it's, a matter of deciding whether they want more LGBTQ creators or want to raise more money for charity. I personally would say raising money for charity is more important. But that's up to, Scott, I guess. And if these people aren't even available. The gray tier, doesn't matter that they're, whatever. We'll ignore that. And then the rest of the people are there, as far as I'm aware, not LGBTQ, at least not according to the wiki. But they could play regardless. I mean, it's not as if you have to be LGBTQ or super popular to play. Anyways, what do you think of this roster? Do you think this would be a fun potential roster for MCC Pride 2024? I think this would be fantastic. You know, obviously it's very much copium because this is kind of getting the the good half of every potential a Pride event, I guess, combined. But I think regardless, this would be incredible. Do I think it'll happen? No, probably not. Also, if we add up all the people from in the teams who are LGBTQ, I think you get let's see, 3, that'd be 7, 8, 11, 13, 15, 19, 20, 25 people. 25 LGBTQ creators, which is the majority, which I think would be fine. Maybe some people on Twitter would get upset about that, but I think it would be completely fine for a Pride event. Obviously, it's a majority representation, and the other people on the roster are here to raise money for those in, from the LGBTQ community. So I guess they would all be allies, which is great. Anyways, enough rambling. Let me know which Pride event you think is the best, whether that is MCC 6, 21, 22, 23. I just realized I didn't even answer the question, did I? I just didn't. My favorite is probably... Ooh. It's either 21 or 22. Oh, this one isn't... This one is really good, too. Honestly, Pride events have been very consistently good. I would probably still say, I'd probably follow my gut and say that I prefer 2022 the most in terms of Pride. I think mostly carried by some of the new additions that were added here, being Ray, Saikuno, Jacksepticeye, Ethan, Velvet, like some incredible additions to the roster. I think Ludwig was, regardless of Ludwig or Laser on this team, on green team, incredible. So yeah, that's the answer to the question. Which Pride event is the best? 2022 is my favorite pick. And here's the teams. Let me know which one you like the most out of potential MCC Pride 2024. I don't think this will be what it looks like because there's probably going to be a lot of newcomers. But who knows? Thank you for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.